Hi guys, it's still Mr. Richard. Hope you're well. This video is specifically for grade 10 learners who are doing CAPS in South Africa. Yes, in this video, we are going to look at November 2018 paper 1. We're going to specifically look at functions, right? We are given, okay, let's read first, statement first. Sketch below are the graphs of f of x, where we are given a parabola, which is ax squared plus q, right? Okay, and where q is a horizontal shift, right? And we are given g of x, which is equals to half to the power of x, sorry for that, minus 4, which is an exponential function, where y it's a horizontal asymptote, and a and b are the x-intercept of f. We can see there a and b are the x-intercept of the graph of f of a parabola. The graphs intersect at a. Wow, that's a point of intersection. And point E is given as 1 and 3 that lies on f. C is the turning point, or is the turning point C. Right, we are given C. Okay. Okay. C, we are being told that it's the turning point. Which turning point of what? It's the turning point of, so C should be here. It's the turning point of F, right? And D is the y-intercept of G, which is the graph of an exponential. Okay, let's put this into practice. Guys, you need to analyze your graph first. We are being told that D is the y-intercept of G, which is the graph of an exponential. Remember when they say D is the y-intercept. For y-intercept, this is what we are going to do. Y-intercept, let x be 0. To get D, this is what we are going to do. Let x be 0, meaning that where there is remember that this is the graph of an exponential, half to the power of x minus 4. So let x be 0. So where there is x, we shall replace with 0. So we have half to the power of 0. Any base that is powered by 0, it's 1. So 1 minus 4 will be minus 3. So D, definitely the equation, the coordinate will be 0 and negative 3. So that's the solution at 5.1.1, which will be 2 marks, right? Easy marks to get, indeed, when you know the basics, right? Okay, right. Let's see the other question. 5.1.2. Let me go back to that question paper. I think I didn't write the question for 5.1.2. Let's look at it. Right. As I've stated here, guys, yes, I did left the question, but it was saying write down the range of G. Right. So since G it's an exponential, to determine the range of G, which is an exponential graph, this is what we should remember. When you're determining the range of an exponential graph, first look at the value of A, which determines the shape. If A is greater than 0, as well as your horizontal asymptotes must be greater than 0. So in this case, our A is positive. So we are going to have our solution here will be, sorry, it's messy, will be y is greater than negative 4. Right, that's how you can answer 5.1 and 5.2. Then we are at 5.2.1. Calculate the coordinates of A. Okay, A, we are being told that it's a x-intercept of both graphs, or the intersection. What we could do is we can use an exponential graph equation, which is given as half to the power of x minus 4, right? If I'm not mistaken, yes, it's like that. So to get A, remember that for x-intercept, you are going to let y be 0 in this case. So where there is this, we are going to place 0, and we have half to the power of x minus 4. Transpose 4 to the right hand side, it will be positive 4, and we are left with half to the power of x. So to make things simpler, since it's an exponential equation, we need to ensure that the bases are the same. You can change 2 to the power of 2, We can also change half to be a negative exponent. It will be 2 to the power of negative 1 multiplied by x. When we go further, we are going to have 2 to the power negative 1 multiplied by x. It will be 2 to the power of negative x. Remember that it was equated to 2 to the power of 2. Therefore, x will be negative x. Okay, we're going to have negative x, which is equals to 2. The subject can never be negative. Ensure that you divide by negative both sides. Therefore, x will be minus 2. Then let's go to the other questions. So we are at 5.2.2. Now we need to, the question was saying we need to calculate the values of a and q. Right, guys, you may recall that the graph was given as ax squared plus q, and it passes through e, which is 1 and 3. Another coordinate where it passes through, it's we can use for f, we can use a, right? We can use a which is negative 2 and 0. So if there are two missing values, you can use a simultaneous method. So we need to formulate an equation using e. So we have x and y there, meaning that where there is y, you shall put 3, and where there's x, you shall put 1 there. So it's going to be 1 squared plus q. Then this is going to be 3, which is 1 squared is going to be a plus q. So we need to make q the subject, or we can make a the subject. But let's transpose a to the other side. So we are going to have q, which is equals to 3 minus a, which we name this equation 1. We are not done. We have another point there, which is negative 2 that passes through, which is negative 2 and 0, right? Okay, so to make life easier, what we are going to do in this case, we can just formulate another equation. We have remember, we have negative 2 as x, okay, plus q, our y, remember it's 0. So we are negative 2 will be square. When squared, it will be 4a plus q. So to make q, let's take 4 to the other side. It becomes negative 4a. That's equation 2. So to make things easier, we can see that these are equal. What we could do, we can just say equation 2 is equals to equation 1. Then we will then equate them. Remember that we have 3 minus a, which will be negative 4a. Okay, to make things easier, just take negative a to the other side. We have 3, which is equals to, take negative a, it will be plus a. What is a negative 4 plus a? It's the same as saying a minus 4, which is minus 3a. Okay, which is equated to 3, divide both sides by negative 3, a is negative 1. So we are not done. They said we need to find q. We can substitute a in any of the equation above here. What we could do, let's substitute into equation 1. We are going to say 3 minus negative 1. What is going to be there? That is going to be positive 4. Definitely, we now have our a as negative 1, q as negative 4. Okay, we are done with that, guys. So when we want to write the standard equation will be we could say a, that will be negative x squared, right, plus 4, which is true because it's a set face. So our graph will be like this, as we have seen in our graph, or in our graph, right? As we have seen in our graph. So let's go to 5.3. Determine the length of CD. Okay, right. To get C, we need to get C. Already we have calculated the coordinates of D. Remember that we said the coordinates of D will be 0 and negative 3. Remember it was given 0 and negative 3. To get C, remember that the equation of a parabola is negative x squared plus 4. So to get C, which is the turning point as well as the y-intercept, we could place 0 here. 0 squared will be 0. 0 plus 4 will be 4. So we are going to have 0 and 4. So they want a length. To determine the length of CD, guys, this is a vertical length. We are going to subtract the y values so that we get the length, right? Let's put that into practice. So it's going to be CD, which is going to be 4 subtracted. This is the y value of C, and the y value minus the y value of D. So in other words, it's yc minus yd. So in this case, negative 4 minus negative 3, that will be 7 units. So we are done with 5.3.1. Then we go to 5.3.2. Now they want you to get an equation, determine the equation of straight line through A and D. That's 3 marks. Okay, let's go back to our graph. Going back to our graph, we can see that A is negative 2 and 0. So we have to find the gradient of both so that we can find an equation, right? Okay, let's put that into practice. First thing first, we can write the coordinates then. The coordinates will be negative 2 and 0. And remember that D was 0 and negative 3. So let's calculate the gradient. Change in y all over change in x. Remember, change in y all over change in x. y2 minus y1, x2. So this is x1, x2, and this is y2, and this is y1. So it's going to be negative 3 subtracted by 0, and 0 subtracted by negative 2. So what is that? Negative 3 minus 0, that will be minus 3, and negative is going to be 0 plus 2, which is going to be negative 3 all over 2, which is true because it's a decreasing function. It will be a decreasing function. It will go below, right? So what is happening? Remember, we can use this equation, y standard form, y is equals to mx plus c. So we did get the gradient, which is negative 3 all over 2 x plus c. So we need to find c. To find c, we can use any of the coordinates. Let's take negative 2 and 0 there. So meaning now we have taken negative 2 and 0. We have x and y, meaning that where there is y, we can place 0 there. Then we have negative 3 all over 2. Where there's x, we are going to put negative 2 plus c. So this and this, they will cancel, or you can use a calculator. So we are going to be left with positive 3 because negative and negative is positive. So we have this as 0 is equals to 3 plus c. Take 3 to the other side. C, it's now negative 3. So our general equation or standard equation will be negative 3 all over 2x minus 3. So this is how you can work out to get that 3 marks, right? Then we are at 5.4.1, for which values of x is f of x greater than 0. When this notation implies that we are going to look at where the graph of f is above the x value is, where your x values are going above. That's what it means. So, but in this case, we can see that our graph was a set face. So that means the x values were not going above. But let's go there and see. By the look of things, we can see that the x values are going below. So it's negative 2 as well as, remember, to get b, we can just transpose 4 to the other side. It will be minus, and we divide both sides. It will be x squared is equals to, divide both sides by negative. We are going to have x squared is equals to 4. Square root of x squared, that will be plus or minus 2. So in this case, we have 2 and 0. Definitely here we are going to have negative 2 and 0. So these values are going below. They are going below the x-axis. So what we could do, our solution in this case will be negative 2 is greater than x but lesser than 2. So that's the solution in this case. That's 2 marks. Then they're saying, for which values of x will f decreasing? The graph of f, since it's a set face in this case, the graph of x, for f of x to the graph of f to decrease in this case, x must be greater than 0 in this case. X must be greater than 0, or some could say x is an element of 0 and to infinity. They can use that using an interval notation. Hope you find this video useful. For those of you who will be writing mathematics this week, or for those of you who are writing tomorrow, all the best, guys. Grade 10. We wish you all the best, and don't forget to subscribe and comment. See you on the next video. We love you.